Astel takes place in a world where memories can be digitally recorded and replayed. It is a story of a young girl who discovers her true origins by viewing her father's memories. Before production started, I worked on the mood and concept. I chose to set the film in a retro-futuristic world combining past, present, and future. The mood panels I created were used to create concept art and the assets in post-production.
I created multiple concept art sketches for the film based on the research and artistic direction provided by Lola.
The film was done in two parts. The memories of Lisbeth's father were shot prior to the rest of the film. This allowed us to anticipate where and how to place the camera and actors based on the holograms.
We had to create a very precise and optimal schedule because we had cumbersome equipment, a small space, a small team, and a short time frame.
I worked on the construction of these elements based on the sketches and concept art Estelle provided.
Then I worked with Joanna Boulet, a makeup artist, on the latest skin around the slot for the memory card. In post-production, I customized all of these with 3D elements created in Maya and Woodworks. I lit and shaded them in Maya, then I used Nuke to integrate them into the set.
We had two important issues to consider. Should the memories be represented as holograms?
If so, what techniques could we possibly use to achieve this?
For this, we worked with the Xbox One Kinect and the software Rico. This allowed us to have a 3D animated mesh thanks to the point cloud and depth data.
One of the problems we discovered by using the Kinect was a poor RGB quality, so we added a high-quality RGB file into the final mesh. To achieve this, we needed to simultaneously capture the same shot from the same angle.
So, I built a rig for the Sony a7S II camera and the Kinect to film all the memories.
For all the different viewpoints, I worked on maintaining the volume and shape ratios on the video's pixel appearance. I exploited the neural structure of Maya's plugin to create a changeable glitch that gave the hologram the flicker effect. This way, I didn't have to create a separate simulation for each of the 12 shots. This saved huge amounts of time. Next, I used the additive random mode of Krakatoa in order to add volume and transparency to the hologram.
I worked on keeping the interface interesting, diverse, and visually sync with the rest of the film without overshadowing the holograms. Clément and I used Maya's suit plugin to maintain a unified look for both the interface and the holograms.
I was in charge of the interior environment. I created the model of it and did the shading, lighting, rendering, and compositing of each shot.
I created the model of the balcony and the bay window in Maya. For the balcony, I created a bump map in ZBrush to add the details, and I did the texturing in Modbus. I used a procedural texture in Maya for the bay window. Afterwards, I composited the 3D elements in Nuke to integrate them into the shots.
Our student specialists were in charge of the main view of the city. Kevin created a concept art and the background, while Damien did the foreground and the 3D projection in Nuke. Afterwards, Estelle worked on the animation of the city.
Raphael and I created an environment on the view of the film. I started by doing a concept art based on the art direction of the film and the work our student specialists had done for the main view of the city.
I worked on the layout of the shot in Maya and did the lighting and rendering of the buildings in the foreground.
Then, I created the street by using a matte painting in the background. The buildings were textured in Photoshop in the foreground and were projected in Nuke.
I worked on the look of the film in post-production. We shot in 3 different locations, so I relit every shot in Nuke to create a uniform look. I also did a global beauty enhancement on our skin, using facial trackers in Mocha and patches in Camera Raw. Then, the whole team worked on the compositing of the film. For the finishing process, I placed and composited all the light leaks and did a global color grading pass.
We want to thank all those who helped us, directly or from afar, in the realization of Insight. Merci!